Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode we have a conversation with a man who lost his father as a result of his involvement in the dark powers of Benin. This conversation is from the perspective of the father from his dying days. The kind of revelation he gave his son is what he wants to share with us. Let us now go into what our brother has for us today in this very episode. As you know, I plead with you to please subscribe if you haven't done so, and also do like and share this video, so others out there can also benefit from this conversation. And also hit the notification bell, so you will be notified anytime we upload videos.
Whatever I am going to talk to you about is from my experience with my father, and most of what I will share with you is from the moments I had with him on his dying bed. The very moment I had with him where I got a clearer but most disturbing picture of what my father was really into. I am not doing this with you to tarnish his image, even though I do not condone or agree to the things he has done. He is still my father and I cannot take that away from me or his memory. I only seek to make people aware of certain hidden activities of most of the people they trust and revered most when it comes to religious circles. My father in his last days or moments gave me a book that he said to me that, while he could not erase the pain or the darkness that had enveloped our lives, he could offer me something far more valuable, honesty and a chance for healing. He said to me that, as he would eventually take his last breath, he found solace in knowing that I would get the clearer picture and carry forward a different legacy, one rooted in love, compassion, and integrity. He told me in his last moments before he passed away that, he knows that, in revealing his darkest secrets, he had given me the greatest gift of all, the wisdom to choose light over darkness and to live a life free from the burdens that had consumed him. And this has now become my cause that I have taken upon myself, to also let others know about the realities of what goes on behind the scenes. You see, I will talk about what he told me in details whilst I spent days with him before his final passing. But I want to now start from what was written in the book he had given me. This book that will eventually open my eyes into his dark world was in the form of a diary. It was covered in a brown envelope when he handed it over to me. This he told me never to read it until he is gone. I asked him why, but he insisted I respect him for that. And so, I also chose not to open it until he died. When I finally opened the book, my brother, I was shocked to learn about the secrets that my father held whilst he was doing the work of the Lord. This man who happened to be my mentor, role model, and everything in this world, had this other side that the world or the people who came in contact with him never knew. I would want to read the book to you. I cannot paraphrase for you. Let me read it, so you can take whatever you want to take from it for your audience. As I realized I have some few times on this earth, lie on my deathbed, the weight of my sins presses heavily upon my soul. It is time to unburden myself, to reveal the truth behind the facade I have maintained for so long to you, my beloved son. I know very well that after reading this, you will be very much disappointed in me. But I still want you to know what has happened to me whilst I worked as a pastor. My ministry, you know very well that I am a respected bishop in the ministry, but beneath that pious exterior lay a heart corrupted by ambition and a thirst for power that led me down a treacherous path. I know it is going to be a bitter pill for you, but I beg you to finish reading everything. And let my life and choices serve as a caution to you. This is the most important thing I can ever give you whilst I am still here. My journey into darkness began years ago, during a time of personal and professional turmoil. I was struggling to expand my influence within the church, facing competition from younger, more charismatic leaders. In my desperation, I sought guidance from senior bishops who had long since abandoned their faith for the allure of power. They whispered secrets to me, ancient rites and forbidden knowledge that promised untold power through the summoning of dark spirits. At first, I was hesitant. The thought of invoking forces beyond my comprehension filled me with dread. But the promise of prophetic insights and the ability to manipulate events in my favor was too enticing to resist. I was initiated into these dark practices in the hidden chamber beneath the church, where flickering candles cast eerie shadows on the walls. The air was thick with incense and the palpable energy of the spirits that awaited our call. The rituals were elaborate and terrifying. I learned to chant incantations in languages long forgotten, to draw sigils with blood, and to offer sacrifices that would appease the spirits I sought to summon. The bishops guided me, their eyes gleaming with a mix of reverence and greed as they watched me transform from a mere mortal into a conduit for otherworldly powers. As I delved deeper into this abyss, I began receiving prophecies, visions that foretold events with alarming accuracy. I could manipulate outcomes, orchestrate scandals, and eliminate rivals with a mere whisper to the spirits. My son, the things that you saw your father do and the accurate prophecies were all as a result of my initiation into the dark world, where I am given what will happen and the information about people who will step foot in the church even before I come. You know, as someone who was closer to me, my rise within the church was meteoric. I had become a figure of authority, revered and feared in equal measure. But with each act of manipulation, each spirit summoned, I felt my humanity slip further away. You were always wondering about your mother and what happened that I couldn't explain to you in any good terms. This is what really happened. It was during one such ritual that I received the first of the commandments from the spirits. One thing you must know is that your mother Eliza was a radiant light in my life, a nurturing presence that grounded me in moments of doubt and despair. But as I delved deeper into the occult, I felt the insidious pull of the spirits drawing me away from her, whispering promises of power and knowledge that I could not resist. At first, I tried to maintain a semblance of normalcy. I would come home after long nights spent in secret rituals, my mind swirling with visions and incantations that danced just beyond my grasp. Eliza, your mother, would greet me with warmth, her love unwavering despite my increasing absences. But as I became more entangled with the spirits, I noticed changes within myself. The whispers grew louder, demanding more of my attention, urging me to sacrifice the very things I held dear. The darker problems began to manifest in subtle ways. I would wake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, haunted by nightmares of shadowy figures looming over me. I could feel their presence pressing against my chest, suffocating me with their demands. I would lie beside Eliza, her gentle breathing a reminder of the life we had built together, yet I felt an invisible barrier separating us. Your mother never did anything bad to me for me to treat her like that. But she understood it. She knew it had to be done, that is why she agreed to go. It all started when the spirit started taunting me, suggesting that she was a distraction, a weakness that would lead to my downfall. I started to notice strange occurrences around our home, objects misplaced, shadows fleeting at the corners of my vision, and an oppressive silence that seemed to settle over our lives. It was as if the spirits were testing me, probing for weaknesses to exploit. I knew deep down that they were growing restless, and their hunger for power was insatiable. The turning point for me and your mother came one fateful night when I was drawn to perform a particularly potent ritual, one that required complete focus and solitude. The air crackled with energy as I prepared the sacred space beneath the church, surrounded by flickering candles and symbols etched into the floor. By that time, before your mother went away, we were still living on the church compound. So, as I gathered the necessary items, a black feather, a vial of salt, and a shard of obsidian, I felt an overwhelming sense of urgency. The spirits demanded this offering, and I could not afford to disappoint them. But your mother had grown suspicious of my late-night absences and sought to confront me. As she entered the chamber unannounced, her presence shattered the delicate balance I had worked so hard to maintain. The spirits recoiled at her intrusion, their anger palpable in the air. In that moment, I felt their rage surge through me, a mixture of fear and desperation coursing through my veins. I remember I shouted at your mother for the first time since we got married. "Get out!" I shouted, panic rising in my throat. "You don't understand. You can't be here." Eliza's eyes widened with confusion and hurt. "What are you doing? Why won't you let me help you?" Even in that dangerous moment that I feared for her, she still pleaded. I allowed her to help me. But I knew then that my connection with the spirits had reached a critical point. They were no longer content to merely whisper in my ear. They craved a vessel, an offering, and your mother's presence was a threat to their plans. In my heart, I understood that if I did not send her away, they would capture her essence and use her body for their dark purposes. I pleaded on her behalf, and I was commanded to do one thing. They warned me that my power would come at a price. I must keep my wife away from me. The spirits spoke in hushed tones, their voices echoing in my mind like a haunting melody. They claimed that her purity would taint the dark energies I had harnessed, rendering me powerless. It was a commandment I struggled to accept but ultimately obeyed, driving a wedge between us that grew wider with each passing day. I told myself it was for her protection, that she would never understand the depth of my power or the darkness that surrounded it. Your mother, my wife, became an outsider in my life, a mere shadow of the love we once shared. Our marriage deteriorated as I became more consumed by my ambitions and less capable of genuine affection. The spirits had warned me, and I believed them. I had become a vessel for their will. So, with a heavy heart, I made the decision to sever our bond. I told Eliza that it was for her own safety, that she needed to leave for a while until I could find a way to cleanse myself. Your mother that night got to know that side about me. The pain in her eyes was unbearable as she packed her belongings, but deep down, I believed it was the only way to protect her from the malevolent forces that had taken root in my life. That is why from the beginning of your life, you were with your mother. Reason why it looked as though I didn't want you near me. I loved you and your mother very much. And I was afraid to lose you, which is why I took such a decision. The spirits welcomed me with open arms after that. They whispered secrets of ancient knowledge and promised power beyond my wildest dreams. The rituals became more intense and elaborate, each one requiring blood offerings and incantations steeped in darkness. I would draw intricate symbols on the ground with salt and ash, calling forth entities from realms beyond comprehension. I would light candles infused with herbs known for their potency, nightshade for protection and mandrake for binding. As I chanted the incantations, the air thickened with energy, and shadows danced around me like specters drawn to a flame. The spirits would manifest as swirling mists, their voices echoing in my mind as they guided me deeper into their world. But with each ritual performed in solitude, I felt a part of myself slipping away, my humanity eroded by the insatiable thirst for power that consumed me. The spirits demanded more than just rituals, they sought my very soul as payment for their gifts. Part of the reason why I want you to understand this is that, if you ever take on this route that I took, remember they will demand your soul for the gift that they are offering you. That is why when you were of age, I kept on telling you that, despite the power upon me, an emptiness gnawed at my core. The absence of Eliza left an unfillable void, a reminder of what I had sacrificed in pursuit of knowledge and strength. I came to realize the reason why my day pushed me to send your mother away. Your mother was too pure and could have helped me to break free from their grasp. That is why they made me do that. The spirits reveled in my turmoil, feeding off my despair while promising me greatness if only I would surrender completely. My son, I know how smart of a man you are. An inquisitive mind filled with questions about faith and morality. As a child, I remember you would sit at my feet, listening intently as I recounted stories from the Bible, tales of heroes and prophets who stood firm. I often saw the admiration in your eyes, a reflection of the respect you had for me as your father and as a man of God. But as I spiraled deeper into my dark practices, I became increasingly distant from you and your mother, consumed by my own ambitions. This is what my father had written in his diary or book he had given me. But there is more to this, my brother. I want to share with you and your viewers some of the conversation into his dark world that he had with me in person before he took his final breath. I remember my father telling me as tears drowned his and my eyes. He said to me that he was once a seeker of knowledge. His voice was barely above a whisper at this time. He continued to tell me that he believed he could harness the power of the spirits to gain wisdom and strength. He said at first, it was exhilarating. They promised him secrets of the universe, glimpses into realms beyond mortal comprehension. But I was foolish. He said he thought he could control them, he continued, his eyes glazing over as he recalled the early days of his obsession. He told me that he performed rituals in secret, sacrifices that he believed would earn their favor. He called upon them with offerings of blood and whispers in the dark. He thought he was forging an alliance, but he was only sealing his fate. Brother, at this point, as a son, it was very difficult for me to listen to him say all these things in regret. All this while, my heart was pounding as I absorbed my father's words. I remember my father's gaze shifted to the ceiling, as if searching for answers among the shadows. He told me that he grew arrogant, he admitted, shameless in his voice. He believed he was invincible, that he could bend their will to his own. He said that he began to demand more from them, more power, more knowledge, without understanding the cost. He neglected the balance that must exist between our word and theirs. He paused, looked at me in the face, and told me that the moment of reckoning came. One night, in his hubris, he attempted a ritual far beyond his capabilities, a summoning meant to bind a powerful spirit to his will. He said he thought he could control it, but it broke free. In its fury, it unleashed chaos upon his life. It tormented him and those he loved, feeding off his fear and despair. Tears streamed down my face as I listened to my father's confession. That was when I felt he was trying to protect us. So, I asked him if he was trying to protect us. Yes, my father responded to me. But he said, in his quest for power, he lost sight of what truly mattered. The spirits demanded respect and humility, qualities he had forsaken. They punished him not just for my arrogance but for the betrayal of trust that came with it.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. In this world where shadows linger alongside light, may we all find our way forward, guided by truth and compassion for ourselves and others. As you can see from some of these confessions and interviews, there are things that are done in churches that we may think it is of the Lord, but certainly it has its source from a darker point in the spirit realm. Like I said in our previous episode, my heart aches for those who place their trust in men, believing they are receiving blessings from above when, in truth, they are entangled in a web of darkness. The line between good and evil can blur in our quest for power and recognition. I urge others in positions of influence to examine their paths and recognize the potential for darkness within us all. This conversation with our brother serves as a stark reminder of how easily one can be led astray in pursuit of power and recognition, and also, we the ones that put our trust in men like ourselves must understand that a lot can happen behind our backs. Therefore, we must be very careful in our quest for spiritual interventions. I hope that this will be a lesson etched in the hearts of those who dare to tread the fine line between faith and fanaticism. In the end, this reminds us that while faith can uplift us, it can also lead us down dark paths if we are not careful about whom we choose to follow. Let this be a lesson for all. Stay grounded in your beliefs and remain vigilant against those who might exploit your dreams for their gain. When you have a deep connection with God and a commitment to uplifting others, you will find your purpose in this life, purpose beyond what fame could ever offer. We are only here to warn our brothers and sisters about the ways of the evil one amongst even the children of God. It is also not to suggest that any musician out there doing his work is of the evil one. But this is to tell you to be careful because a lot is going on in this world. Let your inner intuition talk to you when you listen to some of the songs out there. We will continue with our brother in our next episode. Please let us hear your thoughts in the comment section. I just hope that we honestly take the important lessons from these stories to better our lives and decisions. Stay blessed and be safe. Thanks for being a part of this growing family. Kindly share your thought with us in the comment section below. And if you are new here, please subscribe, like and share.